Imagine this, you're talking to someone, maybe you don't really know them very well, and then your mind goes blank. What the heck do I ask this person? What do I ask them about? Perhaps the hardest thing about connecting with other people is sharing an experience with them, is asking the right questions. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about 4 different types of questions that you can ask and how they can help you.
Oh Lord, it's good to be here with you, Mr. O'Brien.
So why do we really want to ask questions? Well, first of all, we just want to have fun in a conversation. Everyone does. Who doesn't want to have fun? And sometimes when we ask the right questions or we start talking about the right thing, we can have a more shared experience, and that can lead to a lot more of an engaging conversation. And when we ask questions, we get to know someone better. We get to know a group of people better, perhaps. And when we know our environment better, it makes us more comfortable with ourselves and how we act around these people. We start caring about how we're perceived a little bit less, and we start caring about having a little bit more fun, how we're communicating, if we're doing things right that can help everyone. And when we do those things, we have a better connection with someone, which is awesome for parties. I have so many experiences I know that when I got to know everyone that even I wasn't sure about at a party, I had so much more fun. And I even made a few friends that I still talk to today, some that I haven't met since the party, but I still talk to online. Every time I felt somewhat connected to a boss or a coworker, I felt like that I could work more productively. Like my work felt more important because I could relate to them. I guess I felt more comfortable in those environments. I had people that I could talk to. It made it a bit more enjoyable. If we know what kind of questions to ask our teachers, our educators, and sometimes our students, we can learn a lot more about them and the topic that we're learning. Maybe how to more efficiently educate people that topic. Knowing who you're dating and demonstrating you're striving to understand to a date is going to be very helpful. It's helped me know who to get rid of early on in the early stages of dating and who to keep around. And there's actually studies that show if you demonstrate your willingness to understand through follow-up questions and listening, you're probably going to be perceived as a little bit more attractive, or at least attractive enough to get a second date, which isn't too bad. And of course, as I mentioned before, meeting new people and making new friends. This is a huge one, I think, for most people watching this video, because say you're sitting at a table and your friend gets up and leaves, and then the mutual friend that you don't know very well is sitting right there. What do you ask them? How do you break the ice? How do you keep them talking so that you can know them better? Now, before we dive into these, I wouldn't recommend overusing these at all. When someone is talking to you, usually if you're listening properly, you can pick up little breadcrumbs of curiosity that someone might leave behind. And those are questions that are unanswered. I think it's one of the most common and easiest types of questions. It's called a follow-up question. So if someone's talking about their car breaking down, you ask why. What happened to make your car break down? Where did your car break down? What kind of car do you have? These are follow-up questions. Well, the first good one to get someone talking, to get the snowball rolling, is open-ended questions. These aren't a huge deal in my opinion, but I think they're still important, and everyone's heard about them before. Now, the main point of open-ended questions isn't to say an open-ended question, in my eyes. It's to avoid a closed-ended question. One that has limited responses or emotional responses, so yes or no, or one that's overused, like, how are you today? It's just overused, it's broad, it traps someone into trying to summarize their entire day in 2 sentences. How was your day? Well, I went to go take my dog for a walk, then I went to the gym, and then my bus was late. I met someone on the bus that was nice. Good. How about yours? It's usually a question that I ask people that I already know pretty well. What was a highlight of your day, or what did you enjoy about today? Maybe what are you looking forward to later tonight or tomorrow? I reckon that's a bit better. I find these are very efficient when you link them with an emotion. Like what I said before, what do you enjoy about today? Or what are you excited for later? A very open-ended question that is a really good way to get the ball rolling fast and strong is a hypothetical. They're very open-ended. They're awesome, and I always learn lots and have a very fun shared experience with other people. A cheeky hypothetical that I've used in the past is, would you rather mind control 50,000 South American bullet ants or 50,000 Japanese giant hornets? I remember this question making us all suddenly start looking up how much weight each one can carry, how fast they can go, how many you need to carry someone or carry meals to you. I didn't know half the people in that room, and after that I was much more comfortable with talking to them, and I knew them quite a bit more. A good open-ended question is trying to get someone's opinion about something that might be in the room or might be a topic of discussion. Okay, so asking open-ended questions and avoiding closed questions that have limited responses or put too much pressure on someone, especially if they're new to you. Have you ever heard of mirroring before? Mirroring can be a manipulation tactic, but usually when we talk about mirroring, we're referring to the unconscious imitation of someone else's body language, our posture, their tone of voice, that kind of stuff. Now, that's not what we're talking about here. So your brain kind of ignores parts about your body. So your heartbeat, your breathing, your blinking, even your nose when you look straight forwards, it kind of cuts it out. Now, it does the same thing for your voice. That's why when you listen to your voice when you're 16 versus when you're 12, you realize that it got a lot deeper, but you didn't notice. For this same reason, people sometimes don't even realize what they've just said. We're not always entirely conscious of what we're saying. We don't always keep note of it in the back of our minds. And mirroring helps with this. Mirroring is something that Chris Voss talks about in his book Never Split the Difference and on various podcasts. And it's basically repeating the last 1 to 3 words in a curious tone, pushing for more information. It entices elaboration and expands. I use this often because it's so easy to use and it's great for awkward situations. So if someone says, I went to the shops yesterday, you'd reply with, yesterday? And they would go, yes, I went to the shops yesterday and I got this and this and this. That's such an easy way to get someone to expand on their sentence rather than saying, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's cool. It's a really great way also to demonstrate your willingness to understand. You're striving for them to give you more information. Hey, I want to know more about what you just said. And it's great for awkward situations because it's such a simple way to keep the ball rolling. And when the ball keeps rolling, you understand the ball better. Or if you don't, end up clicking with this person and your friend comes back or your train arrives or your bus leaves, then awesome. You gave it a shot. Good on you. Reflective responses might seem weird when you first start trying them, but over time they get a bit easier and you learn where to use them. That's how it worked for me. When I first started trying to use them, I was like, this is forcing it. But after a while, I learned, hey, I can use it at this point when someone's telling me something sad, or I can use them at this point when someone is telling me about how their work day was crap and someone was rude to them all day. Reflective responses are as simple as repeating back how you observe the situation to be in your own words and the feelings of those involved sometimes, and then getting the approval and confirmation from someone else that that is correct or incorrect. And usually, 9 times out of 10 in my experience, they will expand upon that. When I use this, people rarely say to me, yes, that's right, full stop, and then they just stop talking. That rarely happens. And for that reason, this is kind of a question in itself. It's a push to expand on something. And if they do, remember a big part of active listening, which is what reflective responses comes from, is maintaining silence sometimes when you need to. People want to be pushed a bit more to talk more. And when they do, they'll lube up a bit and they'll start talking more often because they know, hey, this person is letting me talk. Now, there's different kinds of reflective responses: paraphrasing, summarizing, and just straight up clarifying, which is just an honest and humble, I didn't get that, could you repeat that? The difference between paraphrasing and summarizing, well, the names are kind of self-explanatory. So paraphrasing is just repeating what you see the situation as back to the person talking to you in your own words. And then summarizing is just bullet points. Summarizing is just the key ideas of what's going on. Now, the way I see reflective responses is that they kind of blend together when you start getting better and better at listening. I used to put a name on them and I used to go, now is the best time to summarize this. Now is the best time to clarify this. But now my brain just kind of figures out the right response automatically that demonstrates my understanding and gives me more understanding as well. It keeps me up to date. Chris Voss often talks about how emotion labeling can be used in everyday life to practice it. Emotion labeling is basically saying to someone what it seems like they're feeling to you in non-accusatory and non-factual language. It's kind of like saying, it looks like you're feeling like this. It sounds like you're feeling like this. It seems like you're feeling like this. You want to avoid saying, you're angry. Why are you angry? Why are you sad? Why are you so excited today? Now, these are, even though they might not sound like it, questions. And when we talk about holding space in active listening, this is sort of what that is. It's giving people room to expand upon something. We're not giving them this little box that says yes or no, are you feeling angry? Chris also talks about how emotion labeling isn't about being right. It's about learning. And the way it's structured is that if you're wrong, that's awesome, because now you're going to learn so much more about how this person's feeling. And if you're right, that also works. This is effective because it's not just a question, it makes other people feel seen, it makes them feel important, and it can help them open up a bit more. It can help them feel comfortable with that. Studies actually show that naming negative emotions can actually diminish them. So there's that too. The downside to this is that if you're not really genuine about it, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Our brains are wired to pick up disingenuous behavior, especially people that we know very well. So for example, if I went up to my best friend in the world and I said to him, "It seems like you're feeling really happy today. It seems like you're kind of confused. It looks like you're a bit worried." He's going to go, "What's wrong with you?" And then he's going to put me into a psychiatric hospital. And that's why when I do this, and when you do this, I think that you should try to act in line with who you are as a person. You can ask these questions in your own way. That's completely up to you. As long as you're following the right idea, you don't need to do it in the exact same way. So we've talked about emotion labeling, reflective responses, mirroring, and open-ended questions. I hope those help you better understand the dynamics of asking questions, and not just asking questions per se, but the reason why we ask questions and what they do for both of us. And just try to remember the importance of authenticity behind some of these kinds of questions. If you want to know more about active listening, I have a video here. And if you're interested in finding a good partner for you, I have another one here. Learning how to listen and socialize better really made my life a whole lot more awesome. This is a toolkit that I made, so it's easy to learn. It helps you get through it 5 to 10 minutes a day, and it has free support every step of the way.